Good morning, students. Good morning to all. On last day, we have studied about the social responsibility of the business organizations, and we have studied also the favorite arguments of the social responsibilities and the against for the social responsibilities. Today, just we will study about the kinds of social responsibilities. Kinds of social responsibilities. Some of the social responsibilities also we can classify as the different types. The social responsibility of business can broadly be divided into four categories. They are economic responsibilities, legal responsibilities, and ethical responsibilities, and discretionary responsibilities. On the basis of economic responsibilities, a business enterprise is basically an economic entity, and therefore its primary social responsibility is economic, that is, the produce goods and services that society wants and sell them at the profit. First, what the economic responsibilities means. So all the peoples are being in the need of having the goods and services, or the demand of goods and services. As a producers or as the business organizations have to arrange or have to produce the goods which is create the demand or which is in the need of the the consumers. So there is little discretion in the performing these responsibilities. So what kind of the goods are being in need of the consumers? That goods have to be produced and sell them to the customers with the reasonable price. So because of that, the economical level also will be improved, and the consumers purchasing power also will be improved. Next, legal responsibilities. So this type of the responsibilities, every business has a responsibility to operate within the laws of the land. Since these laws are meant for the goods of the society, a law-abiding enterprise is a socially responsibility enterprises as well. The law of land mean, so on the basis of the constitutions or on the basis of the business act, so every producers and every wholesalers and the retailer have to take some of the responsibilities. Next, ethical responsibility. So this ethical responsibility includes the behavior of the firm that is expected by society but not codified in law. So all the business organizations have to undertaking their business activities on the basis of the business act. But even though some of the peoples are expecting the business organizations to undertaking their own business activities. So if the business activities are fulfilling the consumers expectations, so this is also one type of the ethical responsibilities. For example, respecting the religious sentiments and dignity of people while advertising for a product. So nowadays the advertising also is one of the important factor to increasing the business volume. But even though when they are telecast to the advertising, so that advertising should not affect any of the religious or any of the persons on the basis of religious and cost wise and the some of the except factors. So there is an element of voluntary action in performing the responsibilities. So even if they are going to increase the volume of sales, this advertising will never suit any of the peoples in any of the category of the peoples. Next, discretionary responsibility. So this discretionary responsibility refers to the purely voluntary obligations that an enterprise assumes. For instance, providing charitable contributions to educational institutions or helping the affected peoples during the flood or earthquakes. So normally all the peoples, every individual peoples also having some of the helpful hands or helpful minds. But even though if the peoples are want to doing some of the helpful activities, they will never having the substantial of the financial. But in this time, the earthquake and flood and some of the natural disaster time, if the societies are affecting, so the business organizations have to take the responsibilities. That is, they have to providing some of the helpful facilities to the peoples. So this it is the responsibility of the company management to safeguard the capital investment by avoiding speculative activity and undertaking only healthy business ventures which give good returns on investment. So even if the peoples are having the sorry the not the peoples, if the business organizations are having the possibilities to producing the unhealthy product and some of the product which has affecting the human health, they will never produce that type of the commodities. That is the discretionary responsibility. Next, social responsibility towards the different interest groups. The business organizations have to take the responsibilities for the different type of the peoples. So after identifying the concept and importance of the social responsibility of business, the various responsibilities that a business has towards different groups with whom it interacts and discusses. The business generally interacts with owners, investors, employees, suppliers, customers, competitors, government, and the society also. So they are called as interested groups because by each and every activity of business, the interest of these groups is affected directly or indirectly. First, if you are taking the responsibility towards the owners, how the business organizations have to take the responsibilities, or how the business organizations have to take the responsibilities. The responsibility of business towards in the different groups, the business investors, employees, governments, competitors, societies, customers, and suppliers also. First, if you are taking the owners, who is the owner? The owners are the persons who own the business. Which persons are doing the business activities in their own investment, who is called as a owner. They contribute capital and bear the business risks. So what are the risks will be arised in these business organizations? Everything is considered and controlled by the owners only. The primary responsibilities of business towards its owners are run the business efficiently. First, run the business efficiently. After that, the proper utilization of capital and other resources. What are the resources are going to taken from the natural? Natural means the natural also will be having the mostly right of the societies. So any of the resources can be used by the whole societies. But instead of the societies, one of the business organizations only will be taking it all the resources. But when they are taking that resources, the business organizations have to utilize that resources as a proper or optimum level. Next, growth and appreciation of capital. So the business organization have to take the responsibility to increase their capital. And if they are getting some of the capital from any of the financial institutions, they have to appreciate that matter. Next, regular and fair return on the capital invested. So the capital invested also have to returning as a fair way. Next, responsibility towards investors. Responsibility towards investors. The investors are those who provide finance by way of investment in debentures, bonds, deposits, etc., banks, financial institutions, and investing public are included in the category. In any of the ways, if the individual peoples are going to invest on the capital or invest on any of the production unit, who is considered as a investors. The responsibility of business towards the investors are, so the business organizations ensuring the safety of their investment. The investors also have to take the responsibilities, the ensuring the safety of their investment. If they are investing, the business organizations have to provide the ensure safety ensuring, because he made many of the ways, he made the investment from the many of the ways, so the ensuring safety of their investment. Next, regular payment of interest. So for the investors, the business organization have to pay the interest, but this interest also have to paid as a regular basis. Next, timely repayment of principal amount. But not only is enough to paying the interest, along with the interest, the principal amount also have to paid with the timely, the prescribed time we have to pay the amount. Next, responsibility towards employees. The business needs employees or workers to work for it. So all the business organization will be in the very much importance of the need of workers or the employees. Even if we have more investment on any of the business, without employees or the workers, the production unit and the distribution of commodities will never occurs. These employees put their best effort for the benefit of the business. So it is the prime responsibility of every business to take care of the interest of their employees. If the good business organizations are not taking care on the workers or the laborers will get the boring and their productivity power also will be reduced. But in the same time, if the organizations are taking the most of the care on the workers and the laborers, they will provide us very much efficiently. So if the employees are satisfied and efficient, then the only business can be successful. Otherwise, it will be affected from the productions and the productivity. The responsibility of the business towards the employees are timely and regular payment of the wages and salaries. When we are considering the wages, daily wages or the weekly wages, the wages must get their salaries and the proper time. As a good labor will satisfied when they are getting the salary in timely. Next, the proper working conditions and welfare amenities. So proper working conditions means the 8-hour works and some of the breaking time and the snacks and some of the welfare amenities. Welfare amenities means the provident fund and some of the other concessional profits. Next, opportunity for the better career prospect. So as the business organizations have to provide the opportunity to improve their categories. So if any of the labor from any of the business organizations are being the labor or the workers till long, they will get bored. So the companies have to make them as a opportunity. Next, better living conditions like housing, transport, canteen, and some other facilities. Even if the workers are going to the business organizations, the business have to arrange the laborers to get some of the other facilities and incentives. So the hotels, sorry, not a hotel. So the pensions and the retirement and the canteen facilities also have to provide. Next, timely training and development. If any of the laborers are not having the efficient, not having the talent, so the business organizations themselves have to provide the training and other development schemes. Next, the responsibility towards the suppliers. The suppliers are businessmen who supply raw material and other items required by the manufacturer and traders. So if the traders and the manufacturer or the producers can able to produce the any of the commodities with the help of the suppliers only. Supplies mean the persons, those who are supplying the raw materials and other items to be made of the commodity. If the producers will never produce continuously if there is no continuous supply of the raw materials. So the business organizations also have to take some of the responsibility and the supplies also. The responsibility, the certain suppliers called distributors supply finished products to the consumers and some of the other persons also. And in whichever way the business organizations can able to take the responsibilities and the supplies mean, so the business organizations have to giving the regular orders for purchase of goods. If a business organizations giving the orders to purchasing the goods as regularly, the suppliers also can able to get more profit. And because of that the producers also will able to produce any of the commodities and there will not be arise the more demand in any of the commodity of market. Next, dealing on fair terms and conditions. So the suppliers and the producers also made some of the agreement and some of the dealings, but when they are arranged the dealings, they have to deal on fair terms and conditions. Next, availing reasonable credit period. So the credit period means so the suppliers will be supply the raw materials to the producers on the basis of credit, but the credit amount have to pay to the suppliers within the proper time. Next, timely payment of dues. So the dues may be in any of the ways, but what are the dues are there? The dues have to pay to the suppliers within the proper time or the regular basis. Next is the responsibility towards the customers. The business organizations also have to take some of the responsibilities toward the customers or the consumers. The no business can survive without the support of customers, because we have studied so all the productions activities are made on the basis of the demand or the desire of the customers only. If there is no customers, there is no economical activity, there is no commercial activities. So as a part of the responsibility of business towards the customers is the product and service must be able to take care of the needs of the customers. The product and services must be able to take care of the needs of the customers. So if any of the needs of the customers, if any of the needs of the customers is arised, so the business organizations have to be able to take care. Next, the products and services must be qualitative. So what type of the product and services is going to provide to the customers? It must be as a qualitative. Next, there must be regularity in supply of goods and services. It is a very much important responsibility of the business organizations, because the customers always will be in need of the goods and services, even if the basic necessities of life and the luxury goods are the other type of the goods. So whenever the demand or whenever the customers are being in need of the goods and services, the suppliers, the business organizations have to provide the regular supply. So after that only the customers will get some of the good name on the business organizations. Okay students, so till that social responsibility towards different type of the groups, we have completed the lessons. So but even though we have some of the time, so we will go to the next lesson. So in these lessons, if you have any doubt, please ask me without any hesitations. So next chapter, chapter 19, the sources of business finance. the sources of business finance. So we know very well about the business finance. If any of the business organizations, if any of the persons want to start at any type of the business organization, the sole trading business or the partnership organizations or any other type of the business, so we need the finance. If we don't have the sufficient level of the finance, we will never start at and we will never continue the business organizations. So the need for the business finance, sources of funds and the importance of savings and personal investment upon you will be going to study in these lessons. So finance is the lifeblood of any business, right? The finance is the lifeblood of any business because all the business organizations always will be required the finance. So the individual persons and the business entrepreneurs also must be having some amount of the finance to start and continue the business organizations. So no business enterprises can function without finance, right? Next, the business enterprises need finance for fixed and working capital requirement. So the fixed capital and the working capitals are there. So if you want to fulfill the fixed capital and the working capital, the entrepreneurs or the producers will be in the need of business finance. So fixed capital requirements include purchase of plant, machineries, furniture, fixtures, vehicles and so on. While working capital requirements includes purchase of raw materials, payment of salary and wages, incurring operating expenses like telephone bills, carriages, inwards and outwards electricity, etc. So here next the meaning of business finance. The term business finance denotes the economic resources employed in the business enterprises. This term includes money and credit employed in the business. So business finance is mainly concerned with arrangement of cash and credit for the business enterprises to carry out their day-to-day operations smoothly, right? So business finance is mainly concerned with the arrangement of cash and credit for the business enterprises. So the business organizations have to arrange the business finance or they have to arrange the credit for the business finance to carry out their day by day operations. If any of the business organizations want to operate their business organization smoothly, so they must require as a sufficient level of business finance. It is clear from the definitions given above that the term business finance is mainly concerned with not only the acquisition of funds from various sources, but also with the effective and efficient utilization of the finance. So even if you are getting the finance is not enough, the received finance also have to make the investment on any of the particular task. That is the important matter. So next the nature of business finance. The nature of business finance. Some of the business finance also has the speculative nature, specialized natures. The business finance comprises of all types of fund. All types of fund mean the short term, medium term and long term used in business. As a business organizations will be used the business finance in the basis of time period. Some of the business organizations will be in the need of short term credit or some of the business will be in need of medium term loan and the other finance also will be in need of long term loan. So all type of organizations, namely small, medium and large enterprises require business finance. So even if you are considering the types of business, the cottage industries, small scale industries, medium scale industries and the large scale industries, all type of the industries will be always in need of financial requirement. Next, the volume of business finance required varies from one business to another one of the business. Some of the cottage industries will be in need of the short-term loan, and some of the medium-term, the medium size enterprises will be in need of medium-term, and the long-term enterprises are will be in need of long-term business organizations. So it will be always will be changing or differing from one to another one. It also depending upon its nature and sizes. So what type of the product is going to produced? Some of the enterprises will produce the agricultural product and some of the basic necessity of life. And some of the enterprises will be able to produce the luxuries and comfortable items. So this type of the enterprises will be in need of long time facilities. Next, the amount of business finance required differs from one period to another. So on the basis of time period also the business finance will be changed. Next, the amount of business finance determines the scale of operations of business enterprise. The amount of business finance determines the scale of operations of the business enterprises. As I told already, if any of the business organizations are going to produce the luxuries and comfortable or the capital goods, it will be need large scale fund. Or some of the other business, if they are producing the basic necessity of life, they will be in need of small size of capital. Okay students, I think it's enough. So in these lessons today we have completed one lessons and we have started another one of the lessons, and in this another lesson, another one of the lessons we have studied the meanings and significance of business finance. So if you have any doubt in these portions, please ask me without any hesitations. Thank you.